right of the masjid over those people? One of the rights is that the comfort of the masjid must be better than the homes in that locality. Yes? That's an obligation.
So it should be built very beautifully, the masjid.
It depends. So if you go to Mauritania,
I want to hadith here that some people cite the hadith that the sign of Qiyamah will be, the Masjid will be very beautiful, and people will come to the masjid just to see the masjid.
There's 2 points which I was going to mention as well. The sign you mentioned, يَتَبَاهَ النَّاسُ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ, that people will be competitive in masajid. And another one mentions another sign, zakharif, ornamenting the masajid. But the hadith mentions also قُلُوبُهُمْ خَرِبًا, their hearts will be, meaning khariba is what a place which is derelict. Their hearts will be derelict. What is the sign? There's a fiqh of this hadith. Number 1, it's disliked, makruh, to spend on a masjid in an area where there is poverty, where people do not have basic food, they do not have clothing, they do not have shelter. But the fiqh is that in an area where the people are, they have homes, well-established people, that they have homes which are decorated. The masjid standard must be 1 daraja, 1 grade above the homes of the people. So this varies, that's the fiqh of the hadith. It varies from, if you go Mauritania, people who live in tents will have a masjid that the standard of which would not be accepted in the UK or in Saudi Arabia or in any oil-rich Gulf state. The standard of the masjid must be 1 grade better than the standard of the homes of that locality. Secondly, the hadith is telling us 2 signs. One is that the intention behind ornamenting the masjid is competition, which is haram. Competition and boastfulness, because the hadith states يَتَبَاهَ النَّاسِ, which is boastfulness and competitive behavior, ostentation. And the second is that قُلُوبٌ خَرِبًا, their hearts will be derelict, meaning they will build the masjid nicely, but their hearts, and in another hadith, it states the rows they will have gaps in their rows, and their hearts will despise one another, because by making gaps in the rows, it causes a spiritual disease, which is the spiritual disease of hatred. That they will have hatred towards one another. So this is one of the huqooq of the masjid, that the people in the locality, they must make the standard of the masjid 1 daraja better than the locality. But
because it's part of a group and all that, is that permissible?
So the questions regarding nativity plays and Christmas celebrations in schools, the problem is that parents are not exercising their right in this country. So if you go on the government website, you have every right to withdraw your children from certain religious celebrations. You have that right in this country. From RS classes also, you can withdraw your child. So what parents should do and must do is visit the school, and remember, the schools are not the problem. The problem is the ignorance of the community with regard to the law. The law of this country entails that if you do not want your child to sit in certain religious classes, you have every right to exercise that right. So nativity plays, you can have the right to remove them from those plays. To participate in any religious festival, you have every right to do that. And likewise, the Christians have the right to remove Christian children from Muslim celebrations. They have the right also. How you explain this to Christians is that if there was a school opened by Muslims, and every morning we had assembly, and in the assembly we recited kalimatu shahada, La ilaha illallah, Sayyiduna Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and we made all the children utter these testimony of faith, including the Christian children, would they not be offended? I think they would be offended. And additionally, it's not permitted in our religion. In our religion, we cannot enforce our faith upon children of other people of other faiths. This is why in the Khilafah, the Ahlul Zimma, they are not permitted to, we are not permitted to teach the children of Ahlul Zimma the Quran. We are not permitted to teach the children of the Christians the Quran. Why? Because this is enforcing the religion upon them and curtailing their rights to freedom of religion. So we must exercise our rights. So if you go on the government website, you'll find a law relating to excluding your children from religious services.
But now come back to the top question.
Relating to this same topic, there is another thing, like I got a letter last week. It will be school Christmas dinner at school. Will be provided by school. All students participate in that as their food. So that allows for the children to have.
Again, you have the right to
Withdraw.
them. So you mention that and you withdraw your child. Why? Because it normalizes Christmas. What happens, Al-Imam Jalaluddin As-Suyuti rahimahullah, in his book on Bid'ah and Innovation, he states regarding Christmas that Christmas occurs in winter time. And in winter time, the days are short, the daylight hours are short, and the night is long, and it is cold. So when Christians place their candles and lights and fires, it seems cozy. Ask the children, they will tell you. The Santa Claus, Father Christmas, the Christmas lights, it gives a cozy feeling. Then they have the presents. And what happens, a love for Christmas is inculcated in their hearts. Likewise, with Christmas movies. So during that season, they place movies on the television with novels. Raymond Briggs' book, Father Christmas, the comic book, The Snowman. These are the books kids are made to read. It gives a cozy feeling and it normalizes Christmas. We as Muslims should do what? We must normalize Mawlid, normalize our celebrations and commemorations. Rajab, 27th of Rajab, the day of Hijrah also. There are Muslims in Makkah who celebrate the day of migration of the Prophet ﷺ. And of course the two Eids and the month of Ramadan, and inculcate love in the hearts of the children for those things and explain to them why we do not celebrate Christmas. Explain to them the history of Christmas. Break the dream and fantasy that Santa Claus is not real. Tell them he's not real. And all those Coca-Cola adverts are false. So the role of the Imam, again, aside from leading the prayers, the second most important role is instruction and teaching. Instruction and teaching. Instruction in what regard? Instructing the people with regard to firstly their beliefs. They need to know their beliefs. Secondly, with regard to their fiqh, jurisprudence. This includes salah, praying 5 times a day, the fasting in the month of Ramadan, distribution of zakat. If the people are going Hajj, to teach them the ahkam al-Hajj. And likewise, rules of talaq, laws of marriage, laws of trade, muamalat, laws of inheritance, instructing the people in this regard. This is the most important role of the Imam. When I entered the masjid, what I observed is firstly the masjid was full with mainly English, meaning what we say white Muslims. Yes, white Muslims, mainly. They sat in a circle and they done dhikrullah. When they finished, Salatul Isha time came. Salatul Isha time came, many of them were young men. So people were making the rows at the front. Some of the young people, what do young people do? Young people talk. People were talking. One of the elderly men from the Pakistani community shouted at them in a really loud voice that people became frightened. Yes? At that point, I went and complained to the Masjid committee about the old man. Firstly, how accommodating are our Masjid to English-speaking Muslims? Not accommodating at all. Secondly, we've had a Khatm Quran, their guide, their Shaykh has passed away. A person must show more empathy and appreciate the fact that they utilize one of the main Masjids in Bradford for the Khatm Quran and be accommodating and welcoming. But this old man shouting at them, in fact I was more offended than them. And it happens many times with younger people, like younger people sitting at the back, they're talking. Should we shout at them? The answer is no. They are young people. Meaning, in fact, many of them hearing this might feel embarrassed and stop talking. But the point being that we should be happy these young people are even in the masjid. Yes? Let them talk. The fact that they are in the masjid, we should appreciate that they could go to Manchester, the famous road, Slow Road, and do haram. Or go to other places in Manchester and do haram. But the fact that they are in the masjid, this is why sometimes I say to some of my students, you people are awliya. Awliya of Allah. And they become surprised. And I say, as long as you're praying your 5 daily prayers, respecting your parents, not doing any haram, you're awliya of Allah. They say, how? I said, living in a free and open society, you choose to attend classes. Yes? So we should appreciate these young people. So, with
society, what activities are permissible that attract youth into the mosque?
So in our masjid, we have a games room, we have pool tables. I don't know, some of these so-called muftis may even say pool tables for youngsters are haram. I mean, you have to deal with these kind of narrow-minded individuals. But pool tables, we have tennis tables, we have the basketball, we have football in an open hall. So one games room. But you don't have things like virtual reality, like PlayStation, because that really dumbs children down. You should have physical activities like table tennis, snooker, basketball, football. Archery is a bit dangerous. They might hit off point. But the point is that you have, one is a games room. Second is activities, intellectual activities as well, quizzes for instance. These are a few things I can mention, but really if you had a games room in the masjid on the side, your masjid will always be filled with young people. It is absolutely essential that the teachers are qualified. And how did I say that you check the qualification of those teachers? You check the qualification of those teachers by having a member, an alim of the deen in the committee who checks the qualification of the teachers. Fourthly, which is absolutely essential, the teacher must be British born. So he can relate to the culture of those youngsters. This is absolutely vital. Fifthly, and I should not be saying this, that the culture of beating children must stop. Because beating children is haram in Sharia. You cannot use khashab, a stick, to discipline a child. Yes, it's absolutely haram. And there must be safeguarding guidelines in all the masajid where you have cameras, and the teachers must be completely qualified and they know how to deal with children. So you cannot have beating of children in the masajid. This still happens in some places.